All started on a rainy afternoon. Emma, a quiet high school student, was walking home through her neighborhood when she noticed a small, scruffy dog shivering under a bus stop bench. Its fur was wet, matted, and muddy, and its eyes looked tired but hopeful. Most people just walked past without a second glance, but something about those soulful eyes stopped Emma in her tracks. She felt a pang in her heart, a deep pull that she couldn't ignore. The little dog didn't run away. Instead, it lifted its head, wagged its tail faintly, and started following her. At first, Emma tried to shoo it away, worried her parents wouldn't let her bring a stray inside. But no matter what she did, the dog stayed close, trotting faithfully behind her, refusing to leave. There was a kind of quiet insistence in its gaze, as if it was saying, "Please, don't turn away." Before we dive deeper into the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Kindness Story Hub, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. If you love stories that show the power of kindness, you won't want to miss what happens next. Emma lived with her mom in a small, cozy house on the edge of town. She had always loved animals, but her family never had the space or resources to adopt a pet. That day, however, something shifted inside her. She knelt down in the rain and held out her hand. The dog cautiously approached, sniffing her fingers, and then, as if deciding she was trustworthy, it nudged her palm gently with its nose. Emma's heart melted. By the time she reached her front porch, the dog was right at her heels. She named him Lucky, almost without thinking, because he seemed to carry hope with him despite his rough appearance. Emma wrapped him in a towel, dried him off as best she could, and offered him some leftover chicken from the fridge. Lucky ate ravenously, wagging his tail with a gratitude so raw it made Emma tear up. At first, her mom was hesitant. "Emma, you know we can't keep a dog like this. He might be sick, or someone could come looking for him." But Emma's eyes were full of determination. "Mom, please. He's been through so much. He just needs a chance." Something in her mother's heart softened, and she reluctantly agreed to let Lucky stay the night. That night, as Lucky curled up on a blanket near Emma's bed, she couldn't stop thinking about him. Who had he belonged to? Why was he out in the rain alone? She imagined all the nights he had shivered in the cold, hungry and scared, wishing someone would notice him. Emma felt a deep, burning desire to help him, not just for herself, but for the little soul that had been abandoned by the world. Over the next few days, Emma and Lucky formed an unbreakable bond. He followed her everywhere, even to school, waiting patiently outside until she returned. People in her neighborhood started noticing him too, a skinny little dog with matted fur and gentle eyes that seemed to look right through you. Some frowned, thinking he was a nuisance, while others offered scraps of food or soft words. But what Emma didn't know was that Lucky had a story that would break everyone's heart. One morning, Emma decided to take Lucky to the local vet. She wanted to make sure he was healthy and, if possible, check if he had a microchip. The vet examined him carefully and shook his head sadly. "He's been through a lot. He's malnourished, has some scars, and probably hasn't had a proper meal in weeks. But he's a fighter. There's a spark in him." Emma's stomach tightened. "Can we find out where he came from? Maybe someone is missing him." The vet scanned him for a microchip, and that's when the shock came. There was a chip. The tag showed that Lucky belonged to an elderly man named Mr. Thompson, who lived just a few blocks away. Emma felt a mix of relief and worry. She wanted to return him immediately, but the vet advised caution. "You might want to see why he ran away," she said softly. Emma and Lucky walked slowly to Mr. Thompson's house, her heart pounding. When they knocked on the door, a frail, gray-haired man answered. His eyes widened when he saw Lucky. "Buddy, is that you?" he whispered, his voice trembling. Lucky's tail wagged furiously, and he jumped into the man's arms, licking his face as tears streamed down both their cheeks. Mr. Thompson invited Emma inside. Over tea, he told her the story that explained everything. A few months ago, his beloved wife had passed away. Lucky, their loyal dog, had been his companion through decades of happiness and grief. But after she died, Mr. Thompson fell into a deep depression. He could barely take care of himself, let alone Lucky. One day, he left the door open, hoping Lucky would run off, thinking the dog might have a better life somewhere. But Lucky, loyal and devoted, had refused to leave him entirely. He had wandered the streets for a while, perhaps searching for food, but always returned home, or at least as close as he could get. Emma listened, tears streaming down her face. She realized that Lucky's persistence in following her wasn't just about seeking care, it was about love, loyalty, and hope. He had chosen to trust a stranger, yes, but only because his own family was hurting and he needed a spark of kindness in the world. The story didn't end there. Mr. Thompson's neighbors had noticed his sadness, and Emma's gesture of helping Lucky sparked a chain reaction. Other neighbors began checking in on him, bringing groceries, walking him in the park, and spending time talking with him. Slowly, Mr. Thompson began to heal. He started joining community events, laughing again, and reconnecting with people who cared. And Lucky? He stayed by his side, now healthier and happier than ever. Emma visited often, bringing treats, blankets, and plenty of cuddles for Lucky. But more importantly, she had reminded a grieving man that kindness matters, that even small acts can transform a life. It was a lesson that she carried into her own world, treating everyone with empathy and patience, knowing firsthand the ripple effect one simple act of compassion could create. In the weeks that followed, Lucky became a symbol in the neighborhood. People would smile as they saw the little dog trotting happily beside Mr. Thompson, proof that love, loyalty, and kindness could heal even the deepest wounds. Emma's friends at school noticed a change in her too. She seemed more aware of the world around her, more willing to lend a hand, and more determined to make a difference. One chilly evening, Emma stood outside, watching Lucky and Mr. Thompson play fetch in the yard. She realized that what had started as a small, seemingly insignificant act of kindness, feeding and comforting a stray dog, had blossomed into something much bigger. It had healed hearts, connected neighbors, and reminded everyone that even in the darkest times, a little love and attention could spark hope. And the most beautiful part? The story was far from over. Emma continued to help other animals in need, inspired by Lucky's unwavering trust and the way a simple act of compassion could change lives. She knew that kindness wasn't just about grand gestures, it was about noticing who needed help, stepping in, and giving what you could, even if it was just a warm meal, a gentle touch, or a kind word. As Emma closed the door behind her that night, she glanced at Lucky, now curled up peacefully at Mr. Thompson's feet. She smiled, her heart full. In that small, quiet moment, she understood something profound. Kindness is contagious, and sometimes, it takes a little courage to show it. But the results, healing, joy, love, are worth every effort. And so, in a world that can often feel lonely and cold, this story reminds us that hope exists in the most unexpected places. A scruffy dog, a grieving man, and a compassionate young girl, together, they proved that the smallest acts of kindness can create ripples that reach far beyond what we see. All it takes is one heart willing to notice, one hand willing to help, and one soul willing to care. Next time you see someone or something that seems lost or forgotten, remember Lucky's story. A little attention, a little care, and a little love can change everything. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the reason someone finds hope again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Spread kindness wherever you go, because you never know the difference it might make.